Okay, for this meditation, I'm going to focus on an area of the body, and I'm going to stay in that area for the whole of the meditation. I'm going to focus on my hands, but feel free to focus on any other area of the body that you want, or to just join along with me as I focus on my hands. You can, for this one, if you're focusing on your hands, it'll help if you've got one hand on top of the other, in whatever way feels comfortable to you. I'm currently sitting with my left hand palm up and my right hand palm up on top of the left hand, with my thumbs slightly touching one another. And that feels comfortable for me. I like to sit with my hands in that position because they can rest like that for long periods of time. And also the two thumbs that are lightly touching can be quite a useful guide. For instance, if I'm distracted, I notice my thumbs come apart, or if I'm too deep in thought, my thumbs will tend to push against one another. So by keeping them lightly touching, it helps to make sure I'm concentrating. Okay, you can have your eyes open or closed for this. Just be comfortable wherever you are. Try to let go of any thinking. If you've got any thoughts, if you've got other people on your mind, send them some goodwill. Wish them peace of mind. Wish them well. And then let go of those thoughts about others and bring your attention to the present moment. Get the mind ready for sitting in stillness for a little while. Just be aware of the body, any bodily sensations, just aware of them. General awareness. If there's any sounds around you, just focus on the sounds without paying attention to the meaning, or without the perception of liking it or disliking it. Just listening to the sounds as they are. I'm now going to close my eyes, but you can leave them open if you wish. And bring your attention to the hands. The left hand. What do you feel in the left hand? Is it warm? Cold? Can you feel the weight of the right hand on top of the left hand if you're sitting the way I am? Or can you feel the contact between the left hand and the right hand? The left thumb. Can you feel the contact on the tip of the left thumb with the right thumb if you're sitting the way I am? Does it feel warm where the hands are making contact? Just focus on that warmth. Observe any sensations that are in the right hand. Look for the elements of earth, which is the solidity, the weight, the bone. Fluidity, which is water, fluidity of the skin and the capillaries, the joints, the movement, temperature, which is the element of fire. Do you feel the breath energy? When you breathe in and out, can you feel that in your hand? Do you feel any tingling? You feel the touch of air on your hand, the external air, the internal and the external. Bring your attention to both hands together. Just observe any sensations that are happening in the hands. Mind and hands fully together. Let the mind be fully present in the hands. Just be with whatever's there, pleasant, unpleasant. Doesn't matter. Try to observe without the perception of liking or disliking. Just observe the sensations as they are. Be fully present with them. And after do you notice after a bit, can you start to notice more subtle sensations that you're not normally aware of? And you feel a space between the fingers. The wrinkles on your hands. You feel the bones, the muscles. Can you feel a pulse as the blood flows through the hands and fingers, the circulation? The mind wanders, just let go of what you're thinking about. Feel good that you noticed that your mind wandered, and bring your attention back to the hands again. If distracted by thoughts about another person, wish that person well. Send them goodwill. Send them peace. Bring your attention back to the hands again. Be fully present with the hands. Be aware of as many different changing sensations as you can in the hands. You may find that you start to become aware of the breathing, and that's fine. Let the breath also come into the awareness. Keep your main focus on the hands, but allow the breath to be in your background awareness, your peripheral awareness. Can you notice any sensations that correspond to the breath in your hands? Do you feel any breath energy in your hands? And if you don't, that's fine. Just relax and be fully present with whatever sensations are there. It doesn't have to be the breath ones. Use the breath if it's helpful. Help make it a bit more interesting as well. Sometimes you can make meditation into a bit of a game. As long as you stay within the area of focus, you can experiment, such as using the breath, to see how that affects where you're focusing. See if different ways of breathing change the sensations. when you're breathing, you should always use the diaphragm. Breathe with the belly, pull the air in with the belly. Always try to breathe in a way that feels good. Which can mean different things at different times. Sometimes it can feel good to breathe long, breathe deep, and other times it feels better to breathe shallow. It doesn't matter, just be with whatever breath feels good in this moment. Keep your main attention on the hands. Keeping the breath in peripheral awareness. Imagine you're like a waiter and you're in a busy bar and you've got a tray of drinks. You keep your main focus on the tray of drinks so you don't spill it, but at the same time you need to be aware of all the other people in the room so you don't accidentally bump into them and spill the drinks. So you always have a peripheral awareness that brings context to what you're doing. Try different areas of the hands. Try being just in the thumb and then the thumbs together, or a knuckle, and then the whole hand together, back of the hand, the front of the hand, the space between the fingers, the fingertips. Now just be aware of the hands. Imagine they're a bit like a spider in the middle of a web, and the rest of your body is the web, and the main point of focus is in the hands, but you're still aware of the rest of the body as a spider would be aware of a web. Just sit like that for a moment. You need to be very still and quiet, like a spider on a web. Okay, I'm going to bring this meditation to a close now. So bring your attention back to the present moment. If your eyes were closed, open them. Just sit for a moment, don't be in a hurry to leave. Just sit in this body, which is your home. Observe how your body feels, how your mind feels. Does your state of mind feel better than it did before you started meditating? If so, you might want to try to be aware during the daytime when you're doing your everyday activities. Try and sometimes be aware of what your hands are doing during the day. See if you can bring the mind fully into the hands and just remain there for a bit, and notice if that helps you feel a bit calmer in any situation, like an anchor point that stops your mind wandering off with affairs. You stay quite grounded in this area of the body. I was reading an article about how there's two ways to get in touch with the reptilian brain. And the reptilian part of our brain is what's responsible for fight or flight. And the reptilian brain has never really got the hang of our modern civilization, so it often puts us into fight or flight mode. And that's why we often feel so stressed. And it has its use. It's meant to get us out of danger if something is about to attack us. It's to preserve our life by either standing our ground and fighting or legging it. But it's not meant to be switched on at all times, and it's actually very bad for our health to have fight or flight on all the time. And I read that there's two ways you can come out of fight or flight. There's two signals in the body that the reptilian brain listens to. The first is to take some deep breaths, because that signals to the reptilian brain to let go, and it will go into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is a much more relaxed and calmer way of being, and it's much more beneficial for our health to be in that state. The other signal that it listens to is if you remain fully present in an area of a body. Just being in the body, if you let go of thinking and your mind is just completely in the body, in an area of the body, that also signals to the reptilian brain to let go of fight or flight, because that tells it that you're focusing on the present moment, but there is no thoughts of danger. You're just fully present in sensations, which sends a signal to the reptilian brain that the danger's past and all is well, and it can come out of fight or flight. And that's the best way to deal with the reptilian brain. The reptilian brain doesn't really listen to the other two brains that we've got that sit on top of it. It's kind of more in tune with the body than it is with those two parts of the brain. So if you ever feel stressed, try either of those two techniques for getting out of fight or flight.